Hello, Leo, Leo Sun, Leo Rising, Leo Moon. I am Poetic Heretic, and this is your March 2019 tarot forecast. So it is a general reading for all Leo individuals out there. If you would like a personal reading with me, I do regular live on this channel on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, doing live tarot readings for donations of any amount. So you can try to catch me there if you would like a personal reading sometime. But in the meantime, without further ado, let us get to the reading at hand. So we would like a Celtic cross forecast for the sign of Leo for the month of March 2019. Let us see what we get. What will be the energy for those of the sign of Leo for the month of March 2019? Is that it? That's it. All right. Your current outside influences at the beginning of the month: the Queen of Pentacles. Your challenge: the Page of Swords reversed. The underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for your current situation: the Six of Cups. The past: the Knight of Swords. What you hope to achieve: the Two of Wands. The near future: the Eight of Swords. Your attitude or position on the situation: the Empress reversed. The outside force coming in: the Nine of Swords reversed. What you, or no, not what you hope to achieve. We already had that. Hopes or fears: Eight of Wands. The word hope is in both of them. Got a little mixed up. And the final outcome card is the Six of Wands reversed. Okay. All right, so let us see here. So starting out the month with the Queen of Pentacles, this is a good way to start out the month because this card is all about safety and security and stability, especially financial security and hard work and stable work environment, stable work life, stuff like that, stable finances. It's about strength, maturity, wisdom, patience, someone who is very practical and knows how to get things done. Now, this doesn't mean that there will be a literal person in your life who is like this, though there may be, because this is a court card, especially an adult female earth sign. So that would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But if not that, then it's talking about, again, the general meanings of the card, that security and stability and safety, especially of a financial sense. So that's how you're starting out the month. Could even be saying that this is important to you for this whole month, and you may be finding more and more of this throughout the month. Let me just take another look at your cards here overall, sort of figure that out. You may have some interesting, some of you at least, some interesting business contacts or experience or investments this month, but we'll get into that later. We'll get into it more specifically as we go. So for the challenge card, you got the Page of Swords reversed. So I know some readers will say it doesn't matter if it's upright or reversed when it's the challenge card, but we're just going to read it reversed because that's how I always do it. So Page of Swords reversed. This is a situation where you're experiencing a lot of mental stagnation, or you may be prone to experiencing this, like feeling blocked within, feeling like you're not really going anywhere, especially in a mental sense or a creative sense. It's like, how do I put this? So when the Page of Swords is upright, this is like the energy of someone who has just latched onto a new idea and they're really, really excited about it and they keep talking about it constantly. It can also be the energy of someone who is very intellectual and is discovering new intellectual viewpoints and is really excited about them, sometimes to the point of being overly opinionated. Well, when the card is reversed, it's like you're blocked in that area. So your challenge this month is to overcome this blockage, this mental creative blockage, So if you feel like you need to, I would say this month, try to exercise your intellect more. Try to get into things that interest you, that stimulate you mentally, that give you a lot of excitement, especially mentally. Now, there may also be a risk, going back to what we were saying with the other meaning of this card, of perhaps being overly opinionated, or maybe there's even someone in your midst, with this being a court card, could be a very young air sign who is overly opinionated that you might have some conflicts with. So do watch out for that person. Now, when I say young person, it could be like a child, or it could be someone perhaps in their 20s or even their 30s, and an air sign, so Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So, throwing out a couple possibilities, because after all, this is a general reading, and different people's lives are going to vary and how the energy manifests. So for the underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for your current situation, and also your immediate environment, people around you and stuff like that, you have the Six of Cups. So this is quite the positive card. This is very often indicative of the early stages of a romance or dating, stuff like that, or even just a new friendship. It can be that. Sometimes it can indicate someone from the past coming into your life in the present. You see with the rest of your cards here if that's likely to be the case or not. Well, there aren't really any other indicators of that. Not anything really powerful anyway, but I'll throw it out there as a possibility. But yes, regardless, for those of you who are single and looking, well, this may be your month, and this may, because this showed up in the underlying energy, this could quite possibly be someone that you work with, or that you go to school with, or that you see every day, or you see most days, or something like that. Someone already in your immediate environment, or who is going to soon be in your immediate environment, that you may end up dating, or at least two of you are interested in each other. And again, for those who aren't looking for romance or anything like that, it could be a new best friend, or it could even be a new project that that you feel that creativity flowing around. Could even be what helps you overcome the blockage of the Page of Swords. So keep that in mind. So for the recent past, this is interesting. You have the Knight of Swords, and of course we already went over the Page of Swords, and now this is the Knight of Swords. So this is something that you have experienced that has led to your current situation. Well, when we have the Knights, they are always about going to extremes. And so when we have like the Knight of Swords, this could be someone that you encountered, most likely, with it being a court card, who was either overly opinionated, overly intellectually excited, like overly forceful, perhaps, with their viewpoints. Or it could be someone that you encountered who was the exact opposite, who needed more mental stimulation and stuff like that. Again, extremes, either one of those extremes. And it could even be that you're encountering that same person in the present this month, just represented now by the Page of Swords reversed. And they might continue to pose an interesting challenge for you. But if it's not manifesting as a person, this could also talk about your own discovery of new ideas, having breakthroughs perhaps in the recent past that, again, that has led to your current situation. Mental excitement, mental stimulation, swords or air. Air is all about the mental world, that sort of thing. So for what you hope to achieve, you have the Two of Wands. This is the idea of initiation, conception, debut, deciding which of two areas require attention, investment in two or more areas. And so a lot of interesting possibilities here. Could also be like a new partnership, and whether that's like a business partnership or like a romantic partnership or a friendship or whatever, that possibility is here as well. And of course, we saw some of both of those earlier. So there they are with the Queen of Pentacles. Earlier, we saw the idea of a possible financial connection. And then with the Six of Cups, we saw the idea of a possible new lover or even a new best friend or something of that nature. So there's definitely this focus that you have this month on starting something new, and it's looking to be very positive overall. So for the near future, you have the Eight of Swords. So this would be about the first week or two of the month, and the Eight of Swords, as the image implies, it can often talk about feeling trapped and isolated and stuff like that. So that may be a potential challenge, but it's also this idea of transformation many times, because remember, it's an 8, talking about the 8th house, corresponds to the energy of Scorpio, all about transformation, and you have another 8 later on. And as I mentioned earlier about the business aspect for some of you, well, the 8th house is also the house of business and other people's money. And so in that first week or two in particular, for some of you, there may be some interesting business opportunities going on. But, when it's described by the Eight of Swords upright, there may be some that are leaving you feeling a bit constrained, but ultimately it should be a transformation for the better. For your attitude or position on the situation about halfway through the month, you have the Empress reversed. Well, I've got to call it like it is. This does talk about the idea of disappointment and loss and sadness, especially feeling loss around love or money. And so this is an interesting contrast to what we saw at the beginning of the month with the Queen of Pentacles when you were feeling safe and secure. So by halfway through the month, something may have happened that has left you feeling not so optimistic about things when it comes to love and or money. However, this is just how you're feeling. It's not necessarily what is literally physically manifesting. And so the card may be telling you is to focus on the upright meanings and the lesson of the upright card, which is to be more optimistic, more open, more receptive, and indeed with Venus, we have to say, as cliche as it sounds, more loving and stuff like that, So let me see if there's anything else relating to what we have here already. I'd say that's about it. Try not to get too wrapped up in feeling sad or disappointed, because it's not, well, we may have some somewhat challenging cards coming up potentially, but it isn't really anything that's a heavy hitter. There's no strong indicator of any kind of really bad thing happening. So I would say look at it that way. For the outside force coming in, you have the Nine of Swords reversed. So this isn't you, this is something coming at you, and it's most likely happening later in the month, like 3rd or 4th week of the month. So usually we like this card better when it's reversed, because it's talking about most often a relief from worrying about things, from being concerned about things. So in this context, this would likely be someone or even something, a situation perhaps, that comes to you that brings you relief. It's a force or entity or energy of relief, of assistance, of perhaps even catharsis, that sort of thing. So that's very good indeed. Now, in some rare instances, it might, perhaps for some of you, be something that is trying to hide the reality of the situation for you. And I don't think that's too likely from what I'm seeing here, but I'm still going to say it just in case. If it seems like someone or something is trying to hide the truth from you, well, don't let that happen. So for your hopes or fears, you have the Eight of Wands. So Eight of Wands, all about the swift change and the brainstorming and the working under pressure and intense, also transformational energy. This is transformation with the element of fire. And so this is in your hopes or fears. So, you're hoping to make some changes and some progress, as we were kind of looking at earlier, hoping for some new beginnings. But what was I going to say? I was going to say that, again, with this being another 8, the 8th house of business and other people's money, again, money is likely on your mind this month. And fortunately, with that Queen of Pentacles for your first card, you're likely to make sound investments this month. This is not a month where you're likely to have money problems, I would say. This is a month for stability in that area. So if you're considering like a certain kind of business venture or a new investment or something like that, chances are, like, I'm not going to say 100% for sure, but chances are more likely than not, you're going to have good fortune when it comes to that. But then that brings us to the final outcome card, the Six of Wands reverse. So I gave you the good news. Well, here's a bit of bad news, unfortunately. Six of Wands reversed, gotta call it like I see it, can often be the energy of procrastination or laziness. It can be low physical energy, low vitality. It can be ego problems, whether that is a sort of egomania or a weak ego, like an ego that needs to be stronger. So if you feel like that's, either one of those extremes as you, then try to temper that, try to bring that into balance, basically. Now, with it being a 6 in the 6th house, can also indicate the potential for health problems. So I would say be careful around the end of the month with your health. Try to treat your health, your physical health, extra well. Let's see if there's anything else here. There may be the possibility of an antipathy to regular work, to menial work and stuff like that. You may be feeling like you're not wanting to do that. But other than that, I would say just be careful. You might be feeling kind of exhausted around the end of the month, so you'll want to take extra good care of yourself. But so that's about it, Leo. Thank you for sticking with me here. If you'd like a personal reading with me, again, I go live on this channel Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And occasionally, not every single one of those days, but often enough, I'll do live tarot readings for donations of any amount. You'll know it because that's the title of the streams. So feel free to subscribe if you want to look for those, if you're interested. And you can come on in, leave me a donation of any amount, even just $1. And I'll be happy to give you a tarot reading, a Celtic cross on any subject of your choice. So other than that, it looks like you're going to have overall quite the good month. A lot of financial security and some new stuff happening with like a new potential lover or a new best friend, new investments, making money. Yes, be careful not to be exhausted by the end of the month, but there's a lot of new stuff happening for you, it looks like. And, don't let any crazy Page of Swords individuals or anything get you down. Enjoy what's coming your way. So thanks again so much for watching, Leo, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.